The fashion for crinolines arose in the middle of the 19th century and covered all segments of society. A skirt on a voluminous frame was worn by both aristocrats and ordinary women. The crinoline made the figure of a woman more voluminous and, as a result, more significant. Men reacted to this fashionable innovation with deep hostility. Magazines were sophisticated in wit, publishing caricatures of lovers of wide skirts. The police and doctors attributed sinister properties to them. However, the true reason for the hatred of crinolines lay in psychology. Men really did not like the fact that a woman began to take up a lot of space. The man seemed to be forced out of living space by these bulky skirts. This is the main reason why crinolines have been demonized in the press. Of course, they did not talk about it aloud, covering up the fear of losing the dominant role with other explanations. Crinolines were criticized for immorality. There was a certain reason for this. For example, maids became an unexpected threat when they were washing the porch on their knees as a part of their daily routine. Many of them did not take off the crinoline during this process. As a result, the dress lifted up from behind, shocking random passers-by. There were a variety of other awkward situations. In case of a fall or an unsuccessful attempt to sit down, the crinoline could bend in the opposite direction, like an umbrella, and the wind could lift it very high up to one's head. In this caricature, a young mother turns it inside out and uses as a device for carrying children. This, of course, is a humorous drawing, but in real life there were unpleasant situations when the crinoline exposed the lower part of the body against the will of its mistress. Several such embarrassments have entered history. The Duchess of Manchester, having unsuccessfully caught on a crinoline, showed everyone her red pantaloons. And another lady at the court of the French Empress Eugénie accidentally fell, and everyone saw that there was absolutely nothing under the crinoline. However, all these unpleasant situations did not happen so often. For women, the pros of crinolines outweighed their disadvantages. Firstly, before the crinoline, women wore a lot of petticoats. They hindered movement and their washing took a very long time. The crinoline made it easier to walk and take care of the wardrobe. The framed dress also allowed women to keep men at a distance. This design successfully protected them from molestation and unwanted touch. "Stay away from me," as if a crinoline was saying to a man. The stronger sex was unhappy with the partial loss of control. Despite the fact that the crinoline was invented by men, most of the males were extremely dissatisfied with this outfit, which carried the impulse of dominance. The press of that time tried to intimidate fashionistas by publishing stories in which women died in fires because of the crinoline. The owner of a dress with a puffy skirt lost the sense of distance between the edge of the dress and other objects. Because of this, with careless movement, the dress fell into the fireplace and the lady died. The Saturday Review magazine complained that sati in India was defeated, while compatriots are constantly dying in the fire because of their love for these ridiculous outfits. Since the early model of the crinoline was inflatable, some wits suggested that women continue to wear rubber crinolines, filling them with water to eliminate the possibility of death from accidental combustion. The largest disaster involving women in crinolines happened on December 8, 1863, in Santiago. A multitude of women and children gathered for a solemn mass in honor of the Virgin Mary. 2,000 candles were installed in the church. The fire quickly spread to the curtains of the drapery. Panic began. The women could not quickly leave the room. They were hindered by crinolines. 2,000 people died in the stampede. The news of this shocking tragedy reached Europe. It is difficult to deny the danger of this fashion accessory, but there were also articles in the press in defense of crinolines, where it was quite rightly noted that there have always been cases of clothing catching fire. Any fluffy skirt could fall into the fire, just crinolines caused special hatred among men. They pushed men out of living space, both physically and metaphorically. Representatives of the stronger sex did not want to admit this bitter feeling, continuing to attribute more and more sins to the hoop skirt. In the Victorian era, there was a popular explanation of ladies' love for this fashionable accessory. Crinolines made it possible to hide unwanted pregnancy. It was during these years that the police reported that more and more dead babies were found on the streets. Public opinion associated these crimes with the fashion for bell skirts. A woman could hide her belly under an immense skirt until childbirth and then imperceptibly get rid of the baby. However, all arguments were in vain. Crinolines were produced in factories by tons. In this caricature, women put a man who criticizes this fashion in a crinoline instead of a cage. The crinoline allowed a woman to reclaim her own space in the world of men. It was an island of dignity, independence, and comfort, which is why it did not go out of fashion for a long time.